And this is the more detailed mind map that I mentioned in the previous video when I was talking about the simplified mind map focused on web development. So in this video, I would like to dive deeper and discuss the web development best practices, especially when it comes to developing custom software, custom websites. Developers need to adopt some more advanced front-end development techniques, and that's also how you can recognize a senior front-end developer based on the tools, based on the libraries he or she uses. So I'll show you on this mind map these more advanced tools, for example CSS preprocessors, and I'll also walk you through some additional skills these IT professionals need to have. Okay, so let's kick it off, shall we? So the previous mind map covered the web development on a high level. Now we will go a little deeper. Okay, so let me walk you through this mind map and explain some of the key terms that we haven't touched just yet. So how can developers develop websites? Well, they can use content management systems. The CMS is one of the key terms that you have already seen in the on the mind map with the most common acronyms. They use WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, or they use website builders such as Wix or Square. That's clear. We already discussed this. Some of the essential essential technologies are HTML. The latest version is HTML5, or CSS. The latest version is CSS3. And also JavaScript. JavaScript allows websites to be more dynamic. The tools that these developers use include some editors where they write code. So, for example, Visual Studio Code, or Sublime, or Atom, or WebStorm. So these are some of the tools where these tools function as IDEs. For example, within the iOS development platform, I mentioned Xcode, or in Android there is this tool called Android Development Studio. So developers who create web applications can use, for example, Visual Studio Code or Sublime or Atom or some other tools. Like, there are countless other tools, but these are the most popular ones. And besides text editors, they can also use some other development tools. So there are some tools within Chrome or within Firefox browsers. There are some tools that enable developers to inspect the content of the website. So those are some of the tools, and you can ask developers during a screening call which of those browser tools do they use. And there are some other extensions like Postman, for example. We will also mention this later. And to develop websites, they also need to develop the business logic somewhere on the server side. So we referred to it as server-side programming. Server-side languages are used on the server side. So those server-side backend languages include PHP, C#, Java, JavaScript. I already mentioned a few times these programming languages. So you will see that in web development, it's always these 5-6 programming languages that are used by 95% of those developers. The other skills also include some analytical skills or A/B testing skills, responsive design, of course, search engine optimization. So these are some additional skills. Also, in smaller teams, developers just need to be able to take care of all this, because smaller teams don't have the capacity to get someone full-time to focus on A/B testing. So someone from the team needs to take care of it. And they can learn it, they can take a quick course, they can read documentation, and off they go. They can acquire these skills really quick. What is more important is the other side of this mind map, which covers the advanced tools and advanced skills these developers may possess. So as I mentioned, on one end of the scale is someone who uses content management systems or website builders. On the other end is someone who can develop custom applications with JavaScript and some other additional advanced tools. So now you probably wonder, what are those tools? And this is the answer, really. When we talk about JavaScript, they either have the option to use so-called vanilla JavaScript, so plain, it's like the ice cream, vanilla ice cream, so vanilla JavaScript, the plain version of JavaScript with no framework. Most often they use some framework or library, whether it is React, Angular, Vue.js, jQuery, Ember, some of these libraries or frameworks are, like, I would say 90% of those development teams use these. They may use some package managers like Yarn or NPM, so Node Package Manager. These package managers are great for some third-party libraries. They can just download those third-party libraries and use them in their projects. I mentioned CSS. CSS is relatively easy to start with, but it can get complex and it can get complicated. So developers may use some frameworks, CSS frameworks such as Bootstrap. They may use some CSS preprocessors such as Sass or Less. And just by looking at someone's profile, you can quickly gauge if they are just at the beginning of their career or if they are advanced front-end developers. Because if they are more advanced, they would already use these frameworks, these CSS preprocessors, these layouts and grids such as Flexbox or CSS Grid. So just by looking at someone's profile, look for these clues. And when you see these clues, then it's safe to assume that you are talking to, or you are about to talk to, someone who is more senior when it comes to developing custom front-end websites or websites in general. They may use also some command line tools, some tools for testing or debugging, some tools to analyze web performance, some tools or techniques to create responsive design, because these days most of the people visit websites on their mobile phones, so each website needs to be optimized. So just by looking at this mind map, I guess you have a wide range of questions you can ask the potential candidate. You can, for example, ask if they use some CSS preprocessors, and if yes, then which one? And you know there is Sass or Less. You can ask if the candidate has ever used any CSS framework. If yes, then was it Bootstrap or some other one? You can ask if they also use some tools for testing or debugging the front-end application. And if yes, then which ones? You can use if they have ever done any A/B testing. You can use if they are also able to analyze the websites. What tools do they use to analyze the performance of the website? How do they keep track of conversions? Which tool have they set up? So these are just some of the questions you can start asking based on this mind map. And you will be able to quickly gauge if you are talking to a developer who is clicking a few buttons here and there, setting up a website using WordPress, Drupal, Joomla, Wix, or Square, or if, on the other hand, you are talking to some advanced front-end developer who can create just anything using these programming languages, frameworks, custom tools, and advanced techniques. And if you would like to find more IT candidates and talk to them with confidence, then the whole booklet with over 40 mind maps can be useful for you, especially if you are transitioning from non-tech field to IT, because this booklet includes 40 mind maps that cover the whole IT landscape. We start on a high level with IT roles, and then we dive deeper to web development, mobile, desktop development, and then even deeper. So for example, software web development with JavaScript. So there is a mind map, for example, that covers data and data related roles, and even developer personas, so you get to understand developers a little better, so you can learn a little more about the developer psychology also through these mind maps. And these mind maps will be priceless, especially if you would like to talk if you'd like to speak tech with IT hiring managers, or if you would like to engage with IT candidates. So these mind maps will give you the vocabulary you need to engage with IT professionals with confidence. And now you can download the PDF file on our website. Just go to itrecruitermindmaps.com and download the PDF file. You can also join our members area, where you can see for at least 40 videos, and you can watch a video related to the mind map you are just looking at. So you can see all these videos and you can watch them right now. I have pre-recorded these videos because I know how hard it is for someone who is just transitioning from non-tech field to understand this IT vocabulary, this IT mess, so to speak. So I try to explain it in human language as easy as possible. You can watch these videos inside the members area. So just go to the website itrecruitermindmaps.com and get yours. Get the PDF now and join the members area. See you there.